Full high.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi. I think they can hear us now.
Oh,
So
Jacob,
Are
we
you sure?
live.
No,
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
We
pretty
are
sure.
extremely live.
You forgot.
No.
Oh,
So professional.
Hello.
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 Okay, we're live. Wow, it
We
feels
are.
like forever, but it's only been a month, I guess.
You
But-
weren't here for the last one. You were
That's
gone.
the case.
So it's
That's-
been forever for you.
This is true. My camera even ran out of battery, and like I the time. Welcome to the Home Assistant release party. We've Frank just shipped 2024.6, so that should hit your update queues in 10 minutes or something.
No, it's already there. You
It's
can
already
update.
there. So
But do it after the stream. Let's
after the
talk
stream,
about
yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you won't know what's in it, right? Yeah. Hey, let's do a quick intro round and then just let's get the party started. My name is Paulus Schoutse. I'm the founder of Home Assistant.
Hi, I'm Frank, and I work in a Home Assistant project, mostly known from, well, actually shipping you this release this month.
Hello,
I'm Missy.
Paul. Oh, yeah,
No.
go ahead, Missy.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm Paul, and I'm a front-end developer for Home Assistant, and I work for Nabukasa too.
I'm Missy. I'm the community and social media manager for Home Assistant.
And I'm Jello. I'm the product manager of Home Assistant.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. We got an awesome release. It is a little bit of everything everywhere,
Yeah.
but one thing is really big.
It's in general, by the way, this is just a jam-packed full release again.
Right.
It's just beautiful. It's
Yeah. So where do we start? So you had the release notes, Frank, or
I like it. Let's talk about the biggest thing.
All right.
Shall we just dive in?
should we just dive? Let's just dive in.
Let's just dive in because we're going to talk about everything about like, well, I almost refuse to say it, but it's AI. But
Yes. All
not
right.
really
In French, you say IA. That's better.
IA.
It's intelligence artificial.
That's KI in Dutch, I think. So that's kunstmatige intelligentie.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to start talking about things. You stop me when I talk too much.
Yeah, we will.
All right. Voice. So last year was Year of the Voice, and we shipped Assist, which is our conversation agent, which is the brain of the conversation. Assist is powered by the language leaders that are creating sentences for every languages, etc. The advantage of Assist is that it's very fast, it runs locally, but it's very strict, meaning that you have to use one of our sentences. So the language leaders are working hard to make sure that more and more sentences are supported, but it's still not a brain. It's more like a big repository of sentences, and we are trying to match them in a specific order in order to allow you to talk to your home. And so in this mode, I would say, like the assist mode, you can say things like turn off the office lights.
Typo there in the end.
Yes, of course. Turn
Good.
off.
Live demos, best idea ever.
Exactly, yes. Lights. And they turn off the office lights. You can see
This
around
is
me.
good. This is a very good example, actually.
Exactly, yes. I mean, I didn't want to make it. I mean, it was not on purpose, but it was a nice demo. So yeah, it's very fast. It runs locally. It's powered by the community. So every language leader from every language are creating sentences. But you cannot freestyle sentences. Like you cannot say like, "Would you kindly turn on the office lights, please?" For example, these kind of things are not working. And so from the beginning, we also allowed users to change the conversation agent for something that was LLM based. But for a very long time, actually until today, the LLM-based conversation agent were not able to control your home. So you were able to do like nice.
JLo, quickly, before you dive in, what is an LLM?
So LLM, you asking me?
No, I can talk about it, right? But like,
No, I mean, I can try. LLM is a large language model. It's a AI model that is very good at completing sentences. So it's something where you ask it something and it replies with text. Yeah, LLM is supposed to be text-based. Now we have like LLMs that are. I mean, we have models that do sound and images, etc. Multiple modality, but at its core, a language model is a big AI model that you give in text in input and it gives you text in output. And it's becoming more and more intelligent, meaning that you can start to have conversation with them. So we have chatbot based on LLMs like ChatGPT. You can start to do things like reviewing code, asking him trivias about the world, things like this. So that's an LLM more or less.
And as of today,
yes. So before that, as soon, from the very beginning of Year of the Voice, we allowed you to create your own LLM-based voice assistants, but they were not able to control your home. So you were able to do things like this. Who are you? This one is called Jarvis. And it can do things that are LLM-based, like I don't know how tall is the Empire State Building. But what it can do, this one, is turn off my office lights. This is not going to work. And today we are bridging this gap, more or less. We are closing this gap. So there is a new feature, which I think I should explain how it works really from the beginning, that allows you to use LLM-based conversation agents to control your home. So let's maybe set it up first, and then we show you what it can do. I guess it's the best, which is actually very simple to set up. It's available today on 2 integration. I think Paulus will talk more about the future and where we are going, but today it's available on OpenAI and Google AI. Both of them are very simple to set up. You need a key. Yes, it's something that is chargeable, meaning that you have to set up the account on the AI part. Once you have this, you just go to settings, integration. You pick the one you want, so OpenAI, for example. You type your key, which I'm going to do live because I checked and it's not fully displayed. You click submit, and you have a conversation agent called ChatGPT. If you go to the configuration of this conversation agent, you will see a new part which is called Control Home Assistant, and you can give it access, no access, or you can give it something that we call Assist access, which I'm going to explain why we are calling it Assist, because we are basing ourselves on the older model of Assist, which is very interesting from what it can do. So this one has access to Assist, and then you can use it in your pipeline. So you can create a voice assistant that is based on that brain, because it's the brain more or less. So that will look like this. You go to settings, voice assistant. You create a voice assistant. I already have one. They are called GPT. So this one, for example. And as a brain, you take your agent that has access to Home Assistant via Assist. And this is bridging the gap between the LLM world and the Assist world. So now this conversation agent is able to understand, to follow a conversation like a LLM-based one, but is also able to control your home. Should I make a demo first, or should I actually explain a bit how it works?
No, demo.
Demo first, okay. All right, so let me just pop up another screen. I just need 2 screens so I can show you a bit what it does. Let's start by something very simple, like let's say that I want to turn on my living room lights. So yeah, I mean, there will be a lot of things that are nice about this demo, and it's on purpose. Like I have a French system, so most of my entities are in French. It's one of the strengths of LLM based is that they don't really care about languages. So I'm going to talk to my LLM, to my agent fully in English. It's going to reply in English, but most of my names are in French and it still works. So this is my living room lights. I'm going to say like, hey, yo, can you turn on the living room lights, please? Right. So this is like the very beginning. Like it's more or less like scraping the surface of what you can do. Remember a bit of context for about like it remembers a bit what you are saying in the previous commands. If you are using ESP-HOME for voice assistant, it's going to remember the commands for about 5 minutes. And so you can also just reuse what you said before. So now I can say something like, can you turn them back off? and it's going to turn them back off because they understand what I'm trying to say. I think. This is long. Okay, yeah. It's a bit longer than Assist, of course, because this is going to the cloud, and there is a lot of things that are happening behind the scene that I'm going to try to explain. It's a lot to unpack, but this is
what I think is really cool here is that the way LLMs work here, what you're seeing, this is Assist, right? This is Assist, which means it doesn't just work in your browser. It works on your Android phone.
Yes.
It works on your iPhone. It works on your Apple Watch. It works on your Android Watch. It works on ESP Home. You can have these voice assistants that, we've told people like, oh, get the S3 box, get the Atom Echo Dev Kit. And so it just works everywhere where you want, right? You don't, just because we've updated now, the way we've built Assist is that we have this modular level where each module can be replaced with another piece. So we have the local sentence matching in Home Assistant, super fast, but limited scope of sentences it understands. Now we have LLMs that powered by a cloud, and we have a local LLM as well, although that one doesn't do control Home Assistant yet. But now, the ones in the cloud, they can control Home Assistant, and it works everywhere, right? So the reach of this feature is a lot bigger than if we would have just added it to Home Assistant.
Yeah. So what you are seeing now is the LLM, or the agents actually, has access to the exact same data than Assist has access to. So I'm controlling what this LLM has access to by doing the same thing, which is going to an entity, going to its settings, and exposing it to Assist. Yes, this one is not exposed to Assist because I was technically targeting an area, and that's an entity, but you get the point. You expose whatever you want to expose. So that's the data part. And then the functionality part, the capability part, it's using the same intent than Assist. So if Assist can do something like turning on a light, turning on a valve, opening a cover, adding something to your shopping list, then the LLM-based is able to allow to access the same tools and able to do the same thing. So that's kind of the base. But on top of that, is the LLM is able to understand intent behind the words. This is what I usually say. And so now we are going to go into things that are a bit funnier, I would say. Okay, let's go to my office. These are the webcam lights, the one that are lighting me up now. So if I turn them off, you may see my face a bit dark. And we are going to start doing things that are a bit more interesting.
I think before you do something, JLo, you just made a typo, right? Remember your first demo?
Yes.
And it didn't work. Is it still on your clipboard? Oh, your API keys there now. But can you type in one with a typo just to show that works? Because LLMs, they understand it better.
Sorry, I should have said turn on. turn on the office light.
He did get it.
Yeah. So the office lights are now on.
It doesn't turn on your webcam lights, right?
No, because they are not in my office. Technically, they are not in my office. That's on my side because I don't want them on always. They are lights that have a meaning and they have a purpose, and they are not on always.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so they are not in my office. This is me cheating more or less, but yes. So I can say something like so the big plus of the LLM-based agent, it's a bit slower, but this is what I was saying. They understand the meaning behind the words. So instead of saying what you want to do, you can give them a problem, and they will find a solution based on what they have exposed. So I can say, for example, something like, hey, I am on a stream right now. Viewers are telling me that they don't see my face very well. Can you do something about it? With a lot of typo. And they are turning on the lights. So this is when you think about it in terms of capability and data, it's the same thing. Assist can do it, so the LLM can do it. But then I'm pushing the intent recognition to the limit. So basically, I'm giving them a problem, and it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. So I'm doing it.
So the way this works under the hood, right, is that we allow in Home Assistant you can expose entities to Assist. Yeah. And so that's in the settings, voice assistant, expose entities tab. And there you can, change or add, say this entity should be exposed to Assist. So you can exactly say, hey, AI, you have access to this data. And whenever we interact with the AI, they have access and they see that data, and then they can make decisions.
Yeah. So that's exactly it. Yeah, I have another demo which is nice. Also, maybe to show a bit the multi-language. I mean, the webcam lights were called webcam lights. Webcam is an English word. So this is it's an irrigation valve. This word means irrigation in French. I have no aliases. I have nothing. I mean, technically, I have an aliases. No, I don't have any. I have an aliases. This is just a valve for water in the garden. That's the only thing that it knows. And I can say something like, my plants look a bit dry today. Can you help me out? Help me out. Takes a bit of time because it's Zigbee based, but okay, so it turned off the correct thing. And again, it keeps context. So I can say something like, that's enough water. Thanks. Yes.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's pretty nice. So again, like we are sending the same data to the LLM, and for now it has access to the same capabilities. So we can do that because we have an intent that is called valve turn on. We can turn on valve with assist, so we can do that, and we can turn on lights with assist, so we can do that.
So one of the breakthroughs, more or less, that happened why LLMs controlling Home Assistant actually something that we're considering is that a few weeks ago, Google released Gemini 1.5 Flash, which is super fast. OpenAI released GPT-4o, which is also super fast. So previously it was like slow. You would talk to your voice assistant, LLM power would be like 8 seconds, and be like, no, that's not good. But now with these current models, they're so fast, like it's still slower, of course, than local sentence matching assist, but like the capabilities are huge. So it's a trade-off, but it's still it's good enough, I would say. The speed is good.
It's definitely slower. By the way, like I don't know if you saw, but there is some sentences that are hanging a bit more, like it's taking a bit more delay for some of them. I don't know why, but usually it's actually pretty okay. I'm running, by the way, this in my home since 3 days to see a bit how everything reacts, and it's definitely usable. There is limitation. I will talk about that afterwards. One of them is price, for sure.
Okay, your wallet.
Yes, one of them is in my wallet, but it is definitely usable in terms of speed, and the way you interact with your home is so much better. Just one question that I see in the chat that I want to reply right now. For example, today, you cannot say, can you water my plant for 30 minutes today? Because, again, same thing, Assist cannot do it. So we are not building something on top of the LLM that Assist cannot do, because we want to make sure that both worlds are staying on track. And so if one day, or spoiler, when we will do that, the LLM based will have access to the same thing, and we'll be able to say like, oh, okay, I understand the intent, and I have a tool. It's called Tools that is fulfilling this intent, so I'm going to use it. But today you cannot do something that is more complex than what you can do in Assist. Sorry, what you can do more, which is already better, is actually having multiple things turning on and off at the same time, because the LLM can actually use multiple tools. So you can say, can you turn on my office, living room, and kitchen light, please? And it's going to say, yeah, okay, I can use the tool there and there and there. And or you can say like, can you shut down the whole living room? And it's going to stop the media player, stop the lights, close the shades, etc. Yeah. So that's the thing that it does.
Can you do a demo of multi-tool, like controlling multiple things?
Yes, I just need to figure out how not to break my next demo. Yeah, I guess I can say I'm going to turn off I don't want to say turn off 2 things, because I think you can also pass 2 areas on the same tool, and that would be cheating. I'm going to turn off the bedroom light, and I'm going to turn on my daughter's bedroom light. So I can say like, can you turn on the lights in my in Marilou's bedroom, and turn them off in my bedroom. Yeah, so that was 2 tools more or less that were used in one. And so you can, and by the way, like this is a bit also, that's cheating. I don't want to say things too complex, because I'm afraid they are going to turn off things that are downstairs that I'm using for the next demo, but you could just say like, I'm leaving the house. And so the LLM will say like, oh, okay, so I'm going to turn off this, I'm going to turn off this, I'm going to close the shade, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
That's risky too, right? When you say I'm leaving the house without programming what leaving the house means, it will do its best effort to like.
Yes, and that was that's a hook actually for the part. That's a hook for the part. Yes, but you could technically say things that are a bit more complex, and it will do it more or less. All right.
It is in that regard an LLM, right? Like if I play with ChatGPT and do stuff and then ask it question, it sometimes just gives me like answers that are, well, hallucinating. Some people say, right? It's just straight up incorrect, and it will explicitly tell you he's right, or it is right.
Yeah.
So how does that affect like this? Right? We're now controlling Home Assistant. Is it going to like, I don't know, unlock my doors automatically, or is this, how scary is this? Like if it hallucinates?
I guess there is two parts to the answer. The first one is you control. I think it's the most important one is you decide what you expose to this agent. So for example, I would not expose my lock to this agent.
I will not.
For example, like that would be the first one. That's the good side of the story. The bad side of the story is that even within what you are exposing, sometimes you say twice the same command and the LLM takes different decisions. It already happened to me that sometimes you say things, and for example, in French, I actually say a lot, turn off the living room instead of saying turn off the living room lights. In French, it makes a bit more sense, but usually say like, can you turn off a room? And 80% of the time is turning off the lights, and 20% of the time is turning off the lights, the TV, and closing the shades, which is something that I need to work on also. It's fine, but there is hallucination, or at least there is less, how to say, repeatability on what you are getting out of these LLMs.
Not deterministic, yeah.
Yes, and I think that's a problem for a smart home. If you really want your smart home to be deterministic, it's a problem. You have ways to drive it a bit more, to guide it a bit more, but
the bigger models are better at it, right? Of getting things right. So they maybe that like GPT-5 or Gemini 2.0 or something are going to be even better at this.
Yeah.
But of course, are we going to use those? We don't know yet, right? Maybe because if they are just so much more expensive, then it's not worth it to get. But of course, if it's for your lock, you want it to always be right.
Yeah.
I have also actually noticed that it's really trying to be helpful. Like you give it a request, so it really wants to satisfy that request sometimes. And it's like turning on more lights, or even if you're like, it isn't really sure, it probably will proceed and turn on a light.
Yeah.
But it is able to figure out things, right? You can like give it, besides like you've showed right now, turn on and off with typos and whatnot. It's able to figure that out, and even like giving it more commands in a single chat command. And this works on voice too. I've seen in a clip that JLo provided for the release notes. But can you also do, I don't know, can you give it like unrelevant questions, and then it will answer it and do Home Assistant stuff while putting a condition in your request or something? Does that work? Like, can you combine all that stuff? Like does it show that intelligence as well in a conditional thing or something?
Yeah, we can. Let's try something live. We can say like, how tall is the Empire State Building? If it's taller than 50 meters, turn on the bedroom lights. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do something else. I'm going to say like, if it's taller than 5 kilometers, turn on the bedroom lights, because I don't want him to just think, okay, I want to turn on the bedroom lights. So how tall is the Empire State Building if it's taller than 5 kilometers? Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I can try the same thing and say like, actually like, yeah, well, let's try like this. Yeah.
Wow.
So it could replace your automation blocks.
Right.
Like you can write
an
information like
Well, hallucinating automation sounds really helpful, but
so there is we have like a lot of small nuggets to show you, like some small things to show you that we found during all of this experimentation. It's a big experimentation. It's all new, so I have a few things that I want to show. So one of them is like something funny that I will keep for the end, but something that is a bit more interesting. Let's try. Is it going to rain tomorrow? By the way, this is a bit more for advanced users, but we still want to show it because it's interesting to understand how Home Assistant is built. And what I'm going to show right now is a bit complex, but we are going to streamline it. We already have some ideas to streamline it. So for the next 5 minutes, it's going to be a bit more advanced, but we are going to streamline it.
Put on your YAML caps. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So Assist cannot fetch weather forecast. Right. If you expose a weather entity, I guess that Assist can have the weather forecast, the weather right now, but we cannot forecast the weather for like the next.
Because you have the state.
Yeah, exactly. So this is something that you don't have in, and so the LLM cannot do it. But this is what we said, like it's based on intent, and our intent system is extensible. So we are providing built-in intent to turn on things, to close shades, to open valves, etc. But we are also providing a way for custom integration and for you users to just create your own intent. And so right now I'm going to create an intent that is fetching the weather forecast. And again, like it's going to be a bit more complex, but I just want to show you a bit how I'm going to say how easy it is or how possible it is to extend the capabilities of LLM-based tool. And then we will talk about the future with Paulus, because we have some ideas about how to make this simpler. Today, it's not that simple, I would say. So I'm going to pop into the YAML part, so like the configuration part.
What was the previous page? You made like a landing page or something?
Yes, give me a sec. Close all. Yes, as you can see, my top bar is very small, so I don't have anything that is techy in my nav bar. I have like a system page, and I have like a navigation with everything that I don't want to see. So ESPM, history, logbook, DevTool, even the DevTool, I remove them, music assistant, media, to-do list, Studio Code, Grafana, everything. Because I don't want to have them.
Nice.
That's super smart.
Yeah. I mean, we know that the nav bar is something that is a pain. So yeah, we are
going to work on that. That's the
we have
message.
to work on that. So yeah, our intents are extensible. You can create your own intent. The thing is already there, so I'm just going to enable it. Give me a sec. Done. And I will show you a bit what it is. I mean, it's twice as slow.
Can you
because
do it in like 500 times or something?
Yeah, I think I can.
Yeah. Command B. Oh, there you go. That works.
All right. So I'm defining an intent, a name. Usually I would say the name you don't care because it's just code, but actually no, because now the LLM is going to see this name. So I have two of them. One which is called get weather forecast hourly, one that is called get weather forecast daily. Technically, this is why you put sentences that are going to be triggering this intent on the assist word. Here we don't really care because we're not going to use them. And then you have the intent script, what you want to do when this intent is triggered. This is why you put everything you want and you give it a nice description. The description is going to be used by the tool, meaning that the LLM will have access to that. So it's the same thing, get the hourly weather forecast at my home location. I'm doing a bunch of things, which is not very complex. I'm fetching the weather forecasts at my location. I'm putting them in a variable. I'm returning the variable outside of the script, and I'm just giving it as an answer to this intent. So technically, the answer of this intent is a YAML object bunch of forecasts every hour. And I have the same thing for the daily, which is just a daily. So that's the part that was a bit more complex, but you are basically able to create your intent and you are able to drive the LLM in a specific direction with that, which I'm going to show you right now.
What's cool here is that you're just providing an API to the LLM. You can just say, oh, LLM, here is something else that you can now do, which can be get the weather forecast, and then you call something in Home Assistant to get the weather forecast. We've seen notifications. We've seen other.
And for example, like now that we are here, for example, the idea of like saying I'm leaving home, I would say this is a bit dangerous with the LLM because you don't know what it's going to do. But I have a script that is called leave home that I'm always calling when I'm leaving home because I have this very strict routine when I'm leaving home. I want notification if my oven is on. I want things that are not even exposed, like I just want to run the scripts. And now I have like a intent that is called leave home. The description is launch the leave home script to be used anytime I'm about to leave my home. Now, if I say to the LLM, I'm going to leave home, then it's going to turn on this specific script and do exactly what I want with it, which is a way to drive. This is what I'm saying. It's a way to guide the LLM to the right solution. So, okay, I'm just going to reload conversation intent. That's it. I can just go back and I can say like, is it going to rain tomorrow? Okay. And so now the funny part is that because it's an LLM and you can talk to it, you can actually go westward mode into it and actually ask it how it did that. So you can go into like analysis mode if you saw westward. You can like step into analysis mode and you can ask it how did you do that. So what tool did you use to fulfill the last request?
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
What its description. Okay, so if you want to try everything that I'm showing, I would say this is maybe the last thing you need to try because it's a lot of token that you are sending back and forth to the OpenAI or to Google AI, and this costs a lot of money because you are literally debugging an AI by using the AI. But it's nice.
Hey, but let's talk a little bit about the money because obviously this is a lot of cool demos.
Yeah.
You've had like if people like you use it a lot, right? You've been testing a lot. You've been doing a lot of development. I think the first morning you were playing with this, you got like $10 or something.
So I'm going to show my cost, but just one thing that you need to know is that I've been constantly talking to my voice assistant. I have like 5 of them since 3 days, also because I want to break them, right? Yeah. Nevertheless, $6 one day, $1 the next day, and $3 today because I've been a bit rehearsing the demo. So yes, it is expensive. Gemini, so the LLM, the Google part, is 16 times
14
less expensive.
Yeah, so the Google one is a lot cheaper, equally fast, I would say. It is a smaller model, so it's worse in the non-voice related tasks. Like it's like if you ask it like Eiffel Tower, Empire State Building, maybe it won't be as good there. But we see for voice tasks it's performing equally well as, if not slightly better. Actually,
Yeah.
We've been, as we were developing this and we were training and testing our API, we've done a lot of evaluation where we change the prompt, we make something else available, and I'm going to see. Yes, let me just quickly share my screen. I should have maybe prepared this, but here we are.
You want to share the diagram?
Yeah, I'm gonna. What's it? Oh, there's yeah. Give me 1 second, because this is Alan. He's part of our team of people that was working on this, and he has been doing a lot of work on this. And so here you can see a breakdown of that. This is actually the real number. So we keep comparing GPT-4o, OpenAI, Google, Gemini 1.5 Flash with like baseline assistant being the sentence matching. The sentence matching, and we made a data set that is quite complicated. So like ambiguous names and kind of like pushing it to really see if our prompt is good. And our goal with these sentences was to confuse it, right? Because if it is confused, then we need to fix our prompt. So it's kind of interesting because it's English, right? So we just have to add extra description to tell the large language model how to act with our data. So if you kind of break it down, it's cool because you can see like, okay, so around like 60% is doing well. And then you can, on top of that, kind of see actions where it didn't know, like it was asking what area, or it was a climate-related fail, or it started. So we had at some point where Gemini 1.5 Flash wouldn't call the tool, but it was actually printing out the tool call. So there was kind of some mismatch. We were able to fix that. The dark red is kind of what you want to avoid, which is it's calling the wrong tool, which generally the wrong tool just gives you a result, as in it could just fail to execute. It would be bad, especially bad if it would, turn off the wrong light or something, right? It's better to fail. We would run these evaluations almost every day, every couple of days, and we kind of, kept improving our prompt. And yeah, we see a lot of, we saw a lot of improvement. We started around like 30% or something, and as we had made more changes, yeah, now it's pretty good.
All right, last demo because I want to share it. This one, which is I think interesting. It's the Tesla one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
All right, so I mean, I just find it interesting to see how it works. So on my car, I have two things that are exposed to the LLMs, which is just my battery and the autonomy, which is the same thing, more or less. It's the same data point.
You don't want to start your car with LLM?
No, so yeah, I mean, Paul knows that, but I'm against having right access to my car from Home Assistant, especially now that I have a LLM. So I'm feeding data from my car to Home Assistant. It knows where it is and if the windows are on, but never in a million years I'm going to allow it to just unlock it and, I don't know, precondition the battery. That's not for me. But at least, I have some data, which is cool. And so I was trying to find some nice use case for this demo, and I tried this, which is like, okay, how far can I go with my car? So very simple question because it's literally like a single data point. And then I said, like, can I go to Nantes? Nantes is a city that is a bit far away from where I am, but it answered yes, like you can go to Nantes. And I was like, okay, that's cool. That's nice. I'm going to post that internally, like on the channel. Actually, it's funny because like this estimate of how much it is like 5 kilometers. The estimate to where I'm actually living, and so I stopped there. I was like, that's a nice demo, and then I was like, wait. You should not know where I live. Actually, like I never told you where I live. Because if you look at what we are exposing to LLM, there is nothing that basically says where you live. We don't expose the zone home, and even if we were exposing it, we would just expose the state, not the attributes. We expose persons, but same thing, we don't expose the latitude, longitude. So there is nothing that is telling the LLM where I live. And so so I went again into analysis mode, saying like, so how did you compute? Sorry, yeah.
Oh.
And now I lost the context. Okay. Far can I go with my car? Every time you close the window, there is a new conversation ID and you lose the context of what you are saying. Can I go to Nantes? Okay, so we were there. Okay, so how did you compute that? Okay, so from your location. How do you know that? This is the funny part. This is a very funny part. Okay, so again, I mean, it is live, which is nice because it's LLM, so I don't know exactly what's the answer, but I'm going to start pulling. So how do you know I live in Florac? By the way, I live in Florac, which is like a nice city next to Bordeaux. And so that's the nice part, basically. Like I'm exposing a sensor that is called external temperature. I'm going to show you the sensor because it's actually very funny. So that's the sensor. No, actually, no, that's not the sensor. Settings, voice assistant, exposed entities, group by domain. Sorry, spoiler for the rest of the demo. Sensor, external temperature. And so he basically picked this. Which is the name of my city. That's the only thing that basically
the entity ID.
It knows.
Yeah. So it took me 2 hours to figure out that this demo something was fishy, because at first I was like, "That's a nice demo," and then I was like, "How did you know?" All right, so that's the first feature, 39 minutes. That's
I want to. I'm going to try, because you made a video earlier today or yesterday even, which is in the release notes, which I think is really cool. So I want to try to see if I can
sure.
the stream. Hold on, that would be this one. Let me try if this works. Here we go.
Jarvis, I'm currently working, but I don't see well. Can you help me with visibility?
I've turned on the lights in your workspace. This should help with visibility while you work.
Jarvis, it's better, but my back hurts a bit. Can you help me stretch my legs?
I've raised the standing desk for you.
So cool.
This should help you stretch your legs and ease some of the back pain.
Jarvis? Jarvis? I'm going in a meeting. Can you please make sure that people see my face?
I've
Nice.
turned on the lights for your webcam to ensure people see your face during the meeting.
So now that we saw everything, sorry.
It's
My
fine.
bad. The first command was built-in intent, turning on lights. The last one was also building intent, turning on lights. The one in the middle is a custom intent for me. So I have a tool that is called Raise Desk, which is doing not much. It's pressing a button, but you cannot like Assist doesn't have the capability of pressing button because you cannot turn on a button. So I just wrapped it inside an intent saying like when I say Raise Desk, you just press that button. Right? It's a simple button that I'm pressing on ESP Home, etc. I mean, I have a lot of things behind, but it's a very simple intent, which is like, this is how you raise the desk. And then you pair that with the being able to understand the intention behind the words, and you can start to say like, my back hurts, can you help me? Funny, I had to shoot the video twice because the first time I said like, I don't see well, can you help me? So he did it. And then I say, I have back issues, can you help me? And he did it. And then he replied like, between your back issues and your visibility issues, I think you should you should rethink your workstation. I was like,
Visit the doctor. Like that would be the next
Yeah,
one.
go to the
Get
doctor.
something from md.com.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've actually
Wow.
seen a lot of people asking about us having a LLM. Nabu Casa specifically having an LLM, and it seems to be a lot. Can you actually talk a little bit about that, Paulus?
Yeah, so the thing is that like LLMs are expensive. LLMs are super expensive, and so I think that obviously the Home Assistant Cloud has a subscription cost that covers like fees like the speech to text, the text to speech that you saw JLO use, but the remote connection, these kind of things, and LLMs don't really fit in there. Like if it's gonna cost like even if it's $1 a day, right? That's already $30 a month of like AI that would like be burned on AI. And of course now it's all hot and like happening, and so you're going to talk to it all day long, and then if your friends come you're going to talk about it even more. But in 4 months maybe you talk about it a couple of times a day. I still like the cost kind of needs to weigh up to the benefits. I think that if we could provide a system where you could pay as you go, then yeah, maybe it would make sense to do it through the Home Assistant Cloud. But then you could also just set up OpenAI or Google, because it's really a couple of clicks to kind of get it set up there. I don't think. I feel like right now these demos are cool, but we don't really like the JLo has put a lot of effort in his voice assistants. We are still working on a hardware voice assistant that we can sell to people, so that's actually easy. That the whole stack is easy, right? So you don't just want to talk to an LLM from like your ESP home device, or you want it to be able to pick up everywhere and all that kind of stuff. So definitely not now. Maybe in the future, especially as prices drop, it could be interesting to provide this kind of features. But yeah, definitely try out both, of course, OpenAI and the Google one. But also, because we have talked about now all the cloud AI, local AI is not forgotten. So we have Olama, which allows you to run local LLMs. It's not finished yet. It doesn't have built-in tool calling, which is how we expose APIs to large language models. We are working on it, but not alone. We're actually collaborating with NVIDIA. So NVIDIA Jetson AI Research Group, they are really interested in helping Home Assistant run a lot of our AI stuff locally. So they've already made speech-to-text and text-to-speech NVIDIA models available over Wyoming protocol, which is the protocol that we use and we created for our voice assistant. They have made Olama run on the Jetson Nano platform, and they also actually last week in their meeting they gave a demo of how they were using function calling on top of Llama 3 via Olama. It's a lot of llamas in those words, but it's basically there's open source local solution coming. However, and this is a big thing, is that like it costs real. You need video cards to run this, right? And these video cards are not cheap. Just for reference, NVIDIA's local AI platform Jetson, I think Jetson starts at $600 or $700. So, and it goes all the way up to $2,000. Now, of course, then you can run your models really fast locally, and you will save time. I think that the future is local, actually, but the prices have to go down.
I think this is like what you said at the end is very. I think it's very important. Right now we are making it work, but we are still like there is no like we are not saying like it's cloud and that's it. We want to see the price drop. We want to see we want to see everything drop so that you can run it locally. I think today running what I demoed locally is really reserved to like a very limited number of users that knows what they are doing. Also have very expensive hardware. If you want the same speed that what I showed, you need like super expensive hardware.
You could reduce cost, right? If you would be using 3.5 ChatGPT, right?
Yes, definitely. Like right, the demo that I showed was the most expensive one. It's like 4.0. It's the most expensive one. Gemini Flash is 16 times cheaper, for example, and 3.5 Turbo, I think it's in the ballpark also. So the 4.0 is very, very, very expensive. And what you get out of it is, like it's always the same thing. It's like limited return of investment. You go from Assist to Gemini, it's like a big leap forward. You go from Gemini to 4.0, it's nice, but it's not that much.
And so, I mean, for Google, we picked Gemini 1.5 Flash. Google has Gemini 1.5 Pro, which is their even bigger model, also more expensive model. It's just slower. It doesn't feel good for voice tasks. And so because Flash performed well, we're going with Flash.
And do you pay more if you expose more entity to Assist or not?
Yes,
because it will send all the state.
Yes. We send. Go ahead, please.
So the way you pay for AI is like how much it depends a bit on the provider, but for Google Flash, for example, it's 35 cents per million tokens that you send in, and that's around like 1 million words kind of deal. You got to think about it. But if you expose more entities, every entity is a couple of words to describe it, right? So you are paying for that. Now with Google's Flash, Gemini 1.5 Flash, you pay $2.10 per million tokens of output, but generally our output is very low, right? Like we give it the state of our house and then say, how far can my Tesla drive? Well, you get 10 words back, right? That's fine.
The function calling is also way back, I think, right?
Yeah.
What the tool is doing, but it's also very small compared to what we send. We send very lot of information and we ask it to take a decision or 2, 3, 4 decisions, but it's very small.
With 4.0, I think the tokens you send and the tokens you receive are the same price. So
Correct.
It starts becoming more expensive very quick. Yeah. So this is AI. Our idea for this is really that we don't really, besides of course putting it in our voice assistant, I think there's a lot of other use cases that are possible with AI. We don't really know yet which. So we're really focusing on making it possible for everyone to just use AI, play with it, come up with good use cases, come up with good prompts. There's so many different variations that there's, because you talk in English or you can talk in whatever language you speak to these large language models, and different models have different ways of receiving instructions and processing these instructions. So there is no, you have to use this prompt and it will work best with every model. So it's really just a lot of playing and trying, and that's where really we hope to be able to leverage our community, our collective intelligence to come up with cool solutions. And if we have some cool solutions, like, then let's see if we can, put it in Home Assistant Cloud to make it available to everyone. Right now, I think the field is just moving too fast. And so we want to make sure that we just let everybody play. And then in 6 months, we can see what we can bring into Home Assistant to make it really easy.
Paulus, there is a question that I think you're going to like, because we didn't really talk about one thing, which is why this is called Assist. And the question will be, can you ask it to write script or automation? for example?
Oh, yeah. So we haven't even talked about this today. We're actually publishing a bigger deep dive in kind of the research and the work and the thoughts that went into this feature tomorrow, which would go into this, but I'll give a sneak peek. The way we have, like I just said, every large language model, prompts, instructions, everything we don't know what's working best today. Might even not work tomorrow the best with the GPT-5 or the Gemini 2.0. And so APIs in Home Assistant, we provide one built-in, which is Assist, which does exactly what the voice assistant does, which is why we feel more comfortable exposing it. But it's not limited to that. You can actually, custom component or custom integration authors can register, create their own APIs that can do whatever you want. There was this custom integration, extended OpenAI conversation that allowed you to create automations and query history and do a lot of wild stuff. That integration can be ported over now to our new LLM API interface, which then will immediately make it work with Google, with OpenAI, and any other LLM we're going to have that allows calling tools. So not only can people play with intents and instructions, people can just swap out the whole API and do something completely different that maybe will be even way better than we are providing, or like maybe just only work with logs or only do administrative stuff or user management or anything wild. And if you go to the developer blog, we have a whole page on how you can, as a custom integration, create your own API. And then when you go to configure an LLM agent, like JLO was showing before, that those radio buttons, it will just show up there as an option.
So this is why it's not like a control yes, no. Assist is really like what we offer, which is the same capabilities of Assist. And it's always the same question that you need to ask. Can Assist create automation? No. So this is a no for now, and you can register. I mean, I don't know how to do it, but the developers will be able to register custom APIs to do more things. So I'm thinking maybe in the future we will see like a management API to be able to do things that you do as an admin, creating script, creating automation, which may be much more dangerous. So we have to see a bit how it goes, but that will be a possibility. So Assist is just one API.
And every agent has this own configuration of which API it has access to, right? So you could have your voice agent still talk to Assist, and maybe you have an admin agent that only has access to that admin API and not to anything else.
All right. I want to start to slowly wrap up, I think.
Yeah, I think we should.
We have a lot more to discuss. All this AI stuff is cool. And we're not even done talking about Assist, actually, because there's more to talk about in Assist.
Yeah. Should we do like a quick intermezzo while, instead of talking about what coming to Assist in the release notes, we did a new release of iOS 2 weeks ago, which brings a native Assist dialogue. And we always had this issue because Home Assistant is running locally, which is awesome. If you access it from a browser locally, you're not running it over HTTPS, which prevents us from accessing the microphone. But of course, if you want to talk to Home Assistant, you want to talk. So we need to listen. So we need a microphone. So we've added now a native Assist dialogue to the iOS app, the Mac app, the Apple Watch. So you will be able to talk to it even at home to Home Assistant. So you can add it to like your action button, for example, if you have like a 15 Pro, or if you have like the Ultra Watch or something, or you can just add a shortcut to your home screen to quickly launch it. And it's awesome because it also allows you now to talk to the LLMs, right? So this is actually what I really like the way we build it. Every time we extend something of Assist, we just build out this bigger ecosystem. Like, oh, now iOS phones can talk to all of these things. And you can still use your private, like your landline phone to talk to LLMs today too, right? Because that's all still compatible, which is awesome. All right, let's switch to Assist. Last bit of Assist, JLO, and then
I will be fast.
I have your demo video loaded, by the way. I'm not sure if you want to do a live demo or.
I wanted to do a live demo, but it's a very short one.
Okay.
Very short one. All right. So the last release, 2 releases ago, I don't remember. We added intents to control media player. Mostly things that are simple, which are pausing, resuming playback, next, and changing the volume. And at first, we only allowed users to target entities by name. So you were able to say like pause the TV or resume the playback on the TV, for example. And that was a good start. But we always felt that these intents were meant to be context aware. Like in a room, you want to enter a room and say like pause or next. But we thought about that, but we hit a barrier which was complex. Let's say not complex like LLM complex, but still complex, which is the fact that on a room you can have multiple media players that are playing multiple type of medias. One very common example would be a living room where you would have a TV. Right now, my TV downstairs is playing the State of the Open Home for my dog. Actually, no, wait, I need to pause one in order to make the demo work. Okay. And I also have a set of speakers that are playing like a random playlist of hard rock. And this is like very typical in a home, right? Like, for example, my Sonos speakers, they are never turned off. They are always just paused. And so when you are on the living room, you may have one media player playing something, one media player just waiting in order to be played. And so we are extending the intent for the media players to be context aware. So you are able to use them in a room environment. And it's pretty cool. So this is my real living room downstairs. I have my TV playing the State of the Open Home. It's playing. And I have my set of speakers that are paused on Guns N' Roses. And I have a voice assistant that, unfortunately, I cannot show because my webcam doesn't work, but it's the assist box. And so now you can just come into your room. So let's imagine that this is on my living room. It is on my living room on Home Assistant, but it's not on my living room now. And I can just ask it to pause. Pause is maybe the simplest one because you could say, well, I mean, yes, you target the media player that are playing, and that's pretty simple, which is what we do. So Jarvis, pause. So it's paused, which is like the simple part. So now let's imagine that you are in front of your TV, you want to go to the toilet. Jarvis, pause. Sorry, my bad. Now you come back to the toilet, you want to resume the playback. Now it's becoming a more interesting problem because technically your two media players are just paused, both of them, right? And so we are doing something smart where we are unpausing the last one that you paused. So you are able to just go back to your couch and say, Jarvis, resume. And it's resuming just the TV and not the music. If I do the opposite, if I pause the TV and I start the music, for example, you can see that both of them have next button. So technically I could go next on the TV. Going next on the TV would actually start the next video on the list. But it's not going to do that. If I say next, I'm just going to, which makes sense, right? Like you are walking in your living room, you have Guns N' Roses playing, you want to just say next. You just say, okay, no, it's not right. Sorry, Jarvis, next. And so it goes to the next sound, and the TV is still like paused. We don't touch it. And it's the same thing for the volume control. So basically, if you have media players in a room, you should be able to say things that are much more natural, and you should be able to target the correct media players. That's kind of the whole story.
So it figures out not just the room you're talking to, right? It matches the assist device you're talking to versus the media players in the room, but it also takes into account the one you're actually working with already.
So it's so for I would say regular intent, we are taking the room in which the media player is and the room on the device. That was stopping there. Now we are doing two things more. We are looking at the states of the entities. So we are saying, okay, Frank wants to pause the playback. So let's target just the one that are playing, which makes sense. But the most complex one is the resume, where we are actually also digging back even one step further, which is let's look at the last one that were playing. Because if you have, again, a TV that is playing and speakers that are paused since 2 days, you go to the toilet, you say pause, they are now both paused. And if we were just looking at the state, we would say like, oh, okay, I mean, let's just blast the music and the TV at the same time. Right. And we don't want that. So we just try to say like, okay, let's resume the one that Franks wants to resume, the last one that was paused.
Right. Got it.
So it's like just more layers of things that we are saying, which is nice.
And is it the same for volume?
Volume is the same. We are targeting the ones that are just playing for one single reason, is that we don't want to scare people to death. So, for example, if you are in the living room, you have a TV that has very weak speakers and speakers that are very powerful, which is also like something that happens very well. If you have your speakers that are paused and your TV that is playing, you may say things like set the volume to 80%. And you want the TV volume to be set to 80%. You absolutely don't want your powerful speakers to be set to 80%. So we don't touch them because they are not playing. And so we are changing. I cannot do the demo with the volume because I'm cheating a bit. My speakers and my TV, they are the same media player ensemble, so the volume are the same. But we are targeting the volume of the one that is playing.
What I really like is just how short the commands are, right? Like you're just in a room. You just want to be able to just say next.
Yeah, so out of the 4, there is 3 that I really like. There is one that we need to work a bit on. Pausing is pause, which is nice. Resume is resume, which is cool. Next is next, which is again nice. Volume is a bit bad. We actually figured out that it was bad a bit too late. We really need to work on that one because it's set the volume to X%. But in order to know X%, you need to know the current percentage of volume. You need an anchor, and you don't know it because you're just walking in a room and you don't know if it's 50, 20, 30%. So sometimes I go to the living room and I say, set the volume to 50%, and it says, okay, I did it. Actually, it was 47%. So you don't know the difference. So what I would like to have as intent is louder or
cool.
less loud. I don't know what to say. Quieter, sorry, and just going by increments based on what it is, which would make more sense.
My kids will love louder.
They are loud already. At least my kids are.
So yeah, so that's the next thing coming. I think we will do like a increment-based volume because it makes no sense actually. You don't know for a light, it makes sense. You can say like set the light to 80% because you understand what is 100 and what is 0. But for a speaker, for sound, it's very complex. It's yeah.
I want to play the video you made for the release notes as well because I think it's a really good demo and it actually shows the device. So here we go.
Okay, Nabu. Resume.
I love the captions of what you're saying. So it's such a nice touch.
Okay, Nabu. Next.
Playing next.
It's also so fast, right? Because it's just small commands.
Okay, Nabu. Set the volume to 50%.
Volume set.
Nice.
Simple, right? Like that's the idea. Simple.
Yeah.
Really cool. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
He triggered Ash's device. Nothing's paused in the family room.
No, actually, like it is interesting, and I don't like I like to share everything transparently. Yes, we have a problem today. We are trying to fix it. Sometimes we are struggling to unpause the media players that are paused. Mike is working on it, but we discovered the bug like this morning. Yeah. So today, for sure, if you pause a media player by voice, you can unpause it. If you come back home and you know you have a media player that is paused, maybe you won't be able to resume it. But we are working on it, and we don't really know where it's coming from for now. We are losing a bit the context of what is in the room and what is paused, and so it says like, sorry, no device is paused, and you're like, yes, it is paused, but yeah. So that's a small bug. We are working on it here.
That's what I want, right? I want to be able to like resume a Spotify speaker like Sonos so that it continues from my headphones into the living room.
You want to end over. That's more complex, but yes.
Follow around basically as well in the future.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Let the LLM decide if it's me that's in that room, and then.
Now it gets scary. All right. So this is all assist stuff, and we have a lot more. So brace yourselves.
Yes.
I want to dive into a little feature we have to spice up a little bit, and it's also a tiny little bit assist related. So I want to dive into that before we go to Paul, because Paul has some interesting stuff to show as well today. I want to talk about our data tables. We had a lot of reorganization happening lately. Thank you. Sorry. We had a lot of stuff happening into like being able to organize your system and automations and your, well, all over the place organization stuff, right? We added labels. In order to make this all happen, we changed our data tables. We got bunches of filters. And last release, we added something that everybody wanted really bad is like if you group stuff, then you can collapse the grouping, which is really nice. Maybe I should just show it. That's way better. Let me bring up
always so yes.
So this will reveal feature number 1 as well for this release in the data table. So this is the expose to assist. We talked about assist right now a lot, but this is the expose screen where you can decide which entity expose. And there in this data table, you can now group, for example, by area. Which is really cool. You can collapse those. We added that last release. But when we added this, a lot of people asked, right, but I want to collapse them all or expand them all. So we added that. Collapse all.
Nice.
And expand all. So nice. So this has been added. It's available for all tables, including like your automations or your entities or wherever you're using these features. So yeah, that's the update on the data tables. Collapse and expand all, and grouping in the expose dialog.
What about the persistence?
Oh, that's a good one. Almost forgot. You're sharp today. Let me go to somewhere else to show that one. What could be devices, sensors, my entities, for example. So another thing that we added last release is how it would remember things like your grouping. If I would go back and forth, the grouping would still be the same. However, that didn't work for things like filters. For this release, we added that support. So you can now say, I want to show all the devices that are in my attic. Nice, it shows the devices in my attic. Super cool. But previously, if you would navigate away and get back, your filter would be gone. And now it's still here. I'm still looking at my area filter by attic. The cool thing, though, is this is different in a way that if I open 2 windows, they will all remember their own filtering. So if I have 2 tabs open and I'm doing 2 different things in the same table, those 2 tabs will remember their own. If I close my tab or my window, it will forget the filtering. It will remember your UI settings, but not your active filters. The same is for the search. It will remember the search too. I think we added that, right?
Yeah, we added.
This one. There we go. So that works too. That's really nice. So these are the nice additions for this release for the data tables.
Very nice. Yeah, data tables are getting so powerful, and we're not done yet. So stay tuned for the next release.
No, we're not. Oh, the next release has something cool. I'll save that. I'm not going to spoil that.
No, I'm not going to spoil it.
No.
Is it a LLM-based data table?
You can ask him to organize your system, and then it will do.
It will just hallucinate a whole column for you.
Okay, keep up the good work, guys. You guys are doing great.
Well, the community is. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Paul, are you up for it?
Yeah.
You have some interesting stuff to share today.
Yeah, I can share my screen.
So we are at 1 hour of the release party, and we didn't share the release notes yet,
which is good.
Which is nice.
Exactly. So if Paul is on stream, you know one thing, right? It will be talk about dashboards and things. So if you're excited for UI, this is your moment.
Yeah. So in it's like 4 months we introduced section on dashboard, and we continue to improve it with this release. So we added some settings like you can configure the max number of column previous release, and so this time we introduce a conditional section. So basically, you can customize the sections that are shown or hidden on your screen based on certain conditions. For example, I can have this is a switch. if I click it, I can can show this section conditionally. So basically, you can configure everything you want based on different conditions. So I will show you how you can do that. So you just have to click the edit icon on section. So you can customize the title like previously. And now we have a visibility tab here. And here you can add like every condition you want. So basically I can add a screen one. Like I want this section only shown on mobile, for example. You can delete this one. And basically, if I go to mobile, yeah, it will show the section, and now it's hidden on desktop.
That is so cool.
This
Yeah,
is
and you
like-
can.
I really like this idea because I always want to, when I'm not at home, I want to see different things on my main dashboard than when I am at home, right? So
Yeah.
way more security related, things locked, if things broken. I'm at home, it's probably lights and media players. So yeah, boom, possible.
Yeah, for example, you can add a condition on a user. Oh, Gilo, you are a user on my instance.
Okay, I can log in then.
And you can say, for example, person Paul is home. So for me, if I'm home, I will have all the section display.
That is cool.
You can already do that with a conditional card. It's basically the same condition. All the condition you can do on the conditional card, you can do this on section 2. Yeah.
Paul, I have a question. I mean, the audience has a question. Can you explain briefly why you have this? Where is the question? Sorry. The square icons and everything. Like why your dashboard looks different than a dashboard like a year ago.
Oh, so if I create a new dashboard, basically, I think I will add some other. So basically, every user knows this dashboard. Few release before, we introduce a new type of view. I will delete this view. And here you have different view type, and we introduce a new section view. It's still experimental, but you can use it, and it's based on sections. So you have group of cards in different columns, and it's another way to organize your dashboard. So if you want to add a card, for example, you can add it by entity. For example, I want to set my light. And then I will have all the cards here.
I love how fast it is to just add like 7 cards. Boom.
Yeah, and you can add every how many columns you want. And if you want to, for example, here I have 3 columns, but I can set it to 2. So I have only 2 columns max. And basically, I don't think it will be visible on the demo because drag and drop it's not shown. But basically, you can move card between sections using drag and drop.
Clement, how could you miss this one?
Yeah, and you can also like drag section.
Just casually drag them around. Drag and drop is here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the new feature we added this release is the visibility on each column, each section. Yes.
Would it be cool, by the way? I'm now feature creeping. I know. Would it be cool to add this to Fuse as well? Or is that already there?
It is.
We have a visibility. It's only for user, but basically we can just extend it to view.
Yeah, we just migrate it.
Yeah, and another thing so for example, let's say I want to hide this card based on certain condition.
Oh, I know this one. You can just wrap it in a conditional card, right?
Yeah, so I will add a tile card. I think I have prepared this. Yeah, So basically what you want to do is wrap it in a conditional card, but no, you can just click edit the card and you have a new visibility tab on every
nice.
card. It also works for custom card. And you can set, for example, I want to, so I think it's this one. It's equal to 1. Yeah. Oh, I think I
Go mobile.
yeah, I will remove this condition. Yeah. And basically, yeah. So it's
good.
conditional card, but
That's
without
cool.
conditional card.
Absolutely true.
Paul, I have a question. On the when you set up your view, you set a max number of column. Can you explain us a bit how it works when you resize all of this?
Yeah, it's a maximum number of column. It's not the total number of column, because, for example, you can put it to 3, but each column have a minimum size to fit the screen because the dashboard is responsive. So here, for example, I have 3 columns. And if I go to like a tablet or mobile device, it will be a max, for example. So if I add like other section, I will put name on it. Yeah. And basically, if I increase the screen, you will always have 3 column max, not 5. And if you want, you can change the number of column, and you will have like 5. Yeah. And if you go back to this size, it will be 3. Yeah. It's just a max number, but we have a minimum and maximum width for every column to fit all the screen better. Yeah.
You added this feature for nothing. It's unconditional.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is absolutely cool. I've seen recently a video from a YouTuber, the Smart Home Solver.
Yeah,
from the Smart Home Solver. And he created if you're looking for inspiration, how you can use this, although he doesn't use this in that video, but it's a good inspiration. How he published a video on how he made his dashboard completely dynamic when he goes to specific rooms or in and outside home, or when certain things are on and off, to make the dashboard like context aware, basically less cluttered. I think it was really inspiring, right? Like very creative and gives you good ideas.
And he was using a vertical stack, grid stack, and a horizontal stack. And basically, I think he released the video the day we merged the PR or something like this. Like,
I'm sorry.
When he released the video, the video is deprecated with this feature. But it's nice for inspiration. I think it will update the video with.
And I can do a follow-up
feature.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But most of if you look him up, the Smart Home Solver, his name is, like, it's good for inspiration. Most of the things he does now is just now built in. But it gives you a good guidance on what you could do with this feature, right? It will definitely show you and give you inspiration.
I mean, not to promote his channel too much, but I also just did an interview with him where we kind of explored of the kind of stuff that's coming to Home Assistant. So if you want to see more of me, he has a nice 10-minute video, because we met last month in Austin at the Z-Wave Alliance Member Summit. He was there as well, so we did a quick interview. If you want to, by the way, and if you want to see what we did at the Z-Wave Summit, we have a very nice blog post named "Z-Wave is not dead" on our blog. And so yeah, Z-Wave is not dead.
No,
it's good.
Thanks for this. I'm going to make this really bad bridge. Background information.
Oh,
so
yeah, the demo for that.
Before we go to the next feature, I want to quickly put in a small commercial break, because I'm going to share my screen. In case you don't know, the people you see on the screen here, we are paid by Nabukasa. Nabucasa is the commercial partner of the Open Home Foundation, which builds Home Assistant. Nabucasa has Home Assistant Cloud. You subscribe to it, you get end-to-end remote connection with Home Assistant. You get integration with text-to-speech, speech-to-text voice assistants, but also with Amazon and Google. And it also funds a lot of people working on a Home Assistant. So all the income of Home Assistant Cloud hires people, these developers. We will work on Home Assistant. Home Assistant is available to everyone. This is kind of how we are able to run such a big organization. So if you like us and you want to see more of Home Assistant, see us build faster, build more cool stuff, please subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud. But that's not everything, because we are also with Nabucasa hiring some people. So I'm going to click on jobs, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I hope we can see it. On nabucasa.com, there's a thing jobs. We have a couple of job openings right now. We're looking for a web developer to help maintain the Home Assistant website, update the documentation, tweak the Nabucasa website. We're looking for a commercial assistant. This is Switzerland only. An employee experience specialist, and a senior UX designer. And just a note on the last one, that job opening is going to close on Friday because it's been open for a bit. But yeah.
And I want to add something, because in the next few days, there will be another position added to this list, which will be an Android developer. So if you're an Android dev and you're like, want to work with us, keep an eye out.
Yeah. And the work is super cool. You work on Home Assistant. Like a lot of the features that you see today, they are built by the community with support from Nabucasa employees, or they are the other way around, built by Nabucasa employees with support from the community. We build stuff. It's all open source. Everyone can use it. And, our mission is to build a smart home that respects privacy, choice, and sustainability. So that is very satisfying work, and it's all remote. So it's cool. You don't have to leave your home, which is good, because that's where you run Home Assistant. That's where you want to be. And
Yes. Like, we have 43 likes, but we have like 1,000 of you watching on YouTube right now. Where's our likes?
43 only? How's
all
that
I-
possible? Can you ask your AI, by the way, or your LLM to do that?
yeah.
Make them all have
Google
the
can
like
build
button.
that in. Google builds it in, right? You just tell its generative AI to start likes on your YouTube channels that you're watching live. Then you don't have to pick up a remote. You don't got to do anything.
There you go.
Right. There it goes. It rises. That's good. Thank you so much, by the way. All right. I want to, there's one thing left.
Let's share the release notes.
Yeah, I saw some question about conditional. I
go
saw
ahead.
some. Conditional card will be. We will find a way to convert the existing conditional card to this new. Basically, it's a new syntax in YAML, and we are looking for
A
to
migration.
deprecate the conditional card and migrate all the card to this feature. And also, I saw a question about resizing a card in a section. We are working on this subject. It's not an easy one for UI, for example, but we are looking for that also, not for this release, but in the next release.
There is some more on the dashboard, Paul, that
Yeah.
you've not shown yet. Can you give us some background on that?
Yeah. So let's say you want to configure a view, and you can set a visibility, you can change the settings, and now you have a new tab here that is background. Previously, you can already do that, but you have to go in your local system, upload the image, expose it in the www folder, and then put the link in YAML using the background key. So it was a pain. So basically in this release we are. I think it's a contribution from a user. This one, yeah. It's a team, yeah, from team, and so you can choose a picture directly here, and yeah, you click here, and then you can save it, and you can have
Sorry.
the
Wow. Beautiful.
Best one.
Oh man, I used
so you
this
can
as an
have a
example in one
beautiful
of our
background
meetings.
for your directly on your dashboard.
A conditional background. Oh, that's not a bad idea.
I want
Yeah.
the AI generated one based on the state of my house.
So
Yeah.
to add some to this, for everybody that's watching us, like this is a cool feature. I can upload my image. We have been talking about like what else can we do, but this can get out of control really fast, right? Because like Paul has already said, like I want an AI controlled thing. Some people said, well, it would be cool if we could add a camera on the background or an image entity, right? Or maybe we should build in some default backgrounds or some solid colors, or maybe based on a mood or time on day, and then make it change or whatever. So you can go really far. The question is though, how far should we go? What should we do? Right? This is not like a feature that you hit every day and that you should be like that big. But what would be interesting and really cool to have here, like tiling, stretching, things like that, whatever. Like there's so much things you could think about. If you have ideas, just go to the blog post of the release and share it. Share the ideas you have, a feature you really like on background, and then we can look into how we can tweak this part a little bit. Yeah. So
and you can remove it if you don't like it. Yeah.
Oh,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
thinking about an Unsplash integration or something that automatically
oh,
puts
that'd be
in
interesting.
and based on mood or something.
Yeah.
Be so nice.
Yeah.
Or pick from your media browser, maybe. Or there are tons of things you could
I
do.
mean, Unsplash should be a media source, and then it's in your media browser, and then that's how you get it all.
But you cannot search that yet. That's something we should work on once. Oh, anyways, tons of ideas.
Yeah.
Share them. Even if you heard them already. But okay. Right. I guess that's it for the dashboarding part, I guess. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Now I'm going to share the release notes, JLo.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Finally.
Finally, that's good.
Share this tab.
It's nice because we are going to be able to scroll down pretty far, I think.
I think so too. Like we talked about LLMs and voice assistants. We can at least check if we had everything, dip our toes into it. We showed this video, which is cool, by the way. I like that fit. Media players we did. Here we go. Dashboarding we talked about. I liked how I used the users for conditional things. I think it's a really cool use case to hide things for the kids, for example.
Yeah.
And dashboard backgrounds, really cool data table improvements we talked about. Integrations we have not talked about yet.
Should we talk about integrations? I guess it's too late now. I was like, should we talk about music assistant? We do this afterwards.
Can do that afterwards. There's time left, I guess. Yeah, we still have
Yeah, we got some more time.
Yeah. All right. We have a couple of new integrations this release, which is also always good to see. Thank you for everybody for contributing all these features. We also changed our release notes a little bit this month. We've bundled, Madalena helped me out here to bundle things more and make it more navigationable. But integrations is also more visible because it's an important part of our community, right? Most of our integrations are community built and maintained, extended, and added. So that's just a cool thing that needs to be more up, I guess. That makes sense, right? That's what makes Home Assistant. So for this month, we have a new integration. Is Air Gradient. It's an open hardware. At least it's open source.
Yeah, it's open source. Air Gradient is cool because it's a open source local air quality monitor that you can buy the kit, you can buy it pre-assembled, and yeah, it runs local. It has some cloud storage for history, I think, if you want, but you don't need to use it. You can just run it completely local. They've updated some parts of their firmware to make it all work perfectly with Home Assistant. So very cool to work with them.
Definitely. AP systems, it's an inverter. So if you have a solar inverter, you can now use their energy stuff. Azure Data Explorer, this one has been in the making for quite a long time, but this is a little bit more tactical. You can send out the events from Home Assistant to Azure Data Explorer and then do analytics in their systems. So that
what I like about this is that it's possible, right? Like a lot of smart home systems are just like the final destination of your data. You can only control your data through the apps or the voice assistants or the hardware from that vendor. Let's say, for example, an Apple or something, or an Amazon. And we don't, right? If you want to send all your data to like the level of state events or state changes to, for example, Azure, do it. Like, your data, you're in control. You can do with it what you want.
you
And if
decide.
that means sending it to Azure, do it.
Yep. Definitely cool. We have INGWPIB, which is a very long name, but it provides information about rivers and water reservoirs in Poland. So if you live there, that could be interesting.
You know what? Just not that I want to highlight everything, but what I like about this one is that it shows how we have for every region. Like we don't have just things that apply globally because we have a global audience. Like no, the opposite. We have a global audience, so there will be things that will apply only to a small subset of people. For example, if you're interested in like rivers and water reservoirs in Poland, because maybe you live in Poland, maybe that's where you get your water from, then now that's possible. It's really cool.
Definitely. This one is the Bidraco special from this month, right? The Intelligent Storage Acceleration, or ISAL. It is something you don't have to worry about. It will be activated for you automatically. It is there. And what it does, it makes everything faster. That's in a nutshell.
From Bidraco.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The way the way it works, just like is that, as computers evolve, sometimes there's newer APIs to do certain tasks faster. In this case, it was compression. And so this library will allow our web framework to use more modern APIs when they're available. Very nice.
Yep. So nothing for you to do. The integration exists and it will be automatically activated. If you have a Home Assistant container or Home Assistant OS, then it will just work.
Yeah.
Oh, no, great. Monzo, this one is also one you can connect it to your Monzo bank account and get your
same release. We give AI control. You can also connect your bank. Great moves there. We got this.
Good combination, I would say. No, it cannot do anything. It will only give a sensor on your balance. All right. We have some changes to integrations as well this month. Some interesting things that are in here potentially. The Things Network is back. The integration existed but didn't work anymore because the Things Network changed their APIs and stuff. And that has been fixed. And if you're looking for a device that can like bridge kilometers, LoRa is mostly used in archaeological things, archiculture. But if you have like a long distance, like a mailbox,
your mailbox,
at the end of the street or something, like there are communities where that is, then that could work, right? You could build something and use LoRa for it. So that's kind of nice. Reolink got some new sensors, always popular here. And I think Teslametry is definitely calling out because that integration has built out this month towards an insane level. So if you have a Tesla, you can hook up your Tesla through Teslametry. And it goes as far as even Home Assistant having an update notification to update your car. It is insane.
So the company Teslametry is kind of an interesting story. So Tesla used to have an API that was unofficial. They kind of were fighting pretty hard to keep us out. At some point, we're like, okay, you guys won. We removed them from Home Assistant. Then Tesla released a paid API that companies could subscribe to. So there was like a bunch of fleet management apps that started to offer API access to their Tesla cars, because they would pay Tesla, users would pay these fleet management companies. Then there was one Home Assistant user was like, yeah, but these fleet management companies, they have a different audience, so they charge too much compared to what Tesla charges the companies. So he made a very cheap version that is just aimed at Home Assistant users, more or less, and that's this one, Teslametry. So made by a contributor of Home Assistant, built to just get your car and everything in Home Assistant. And this API from Tesla includes a lot of data, and because it's now a paid version, we just get all that data. So you can have inside Home Assistant like everything.
It's a lot of data, by the way.
Yeah.
And I think it didn't collect any data like other paid services.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What else is there?
Yeah, radiation devices from Aranet, I saw. I have never thought of getting a radiation detector device for my home, actually. Is that a thing?
It's, I mean, if it detects something, it's probably too late.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
So, you know.
Right. All right. So that's for the new integrations, or at least the updated integrations. That was interesting in this list. We have some integrations that reach platinum quality level. I think it is quite a big list, and I thought, well, let's call it out, because it is good. If an integration reaches this level, it means it's the best of the best. It just gives you a good experience. It's robust. It's tested. It's just a good experience to have from an integration. So these are the integrations that reach platinum level this month, which is absolutely great. Thank you all for doing that. Going down a little bit more, we have some integrations that move to the UI, File, Jewish Calendar, Media Extractor, and the Things Network that has been revamped. It also moved to the UI, so that's always nice, easy to set up. Ambient Climate was removed because they turned that off.
Yep.
Not much to do from our end. It's just gone. So we removed it. All right. That's it for integrations. We have a little bit on Matter. Paulus, you want to dive into
it? So Matter released the 1.3 specification, and we are now running Matter 1.3. Woo! It means,
hype.
Yeah. So what does it mean? It means that we are running the latest SDK version, which has bug fixes, performance improvements. Every Matter specification comes with new device types. It doesn't mean that we support all the new device types yet. We did add support for a couple of new device types. And the reason why we don't just jump on every device type is because there are no devices out there. There's just example apps. And we have noticed quite often that we will build Home Assistant against an example, fan platform, for example. And then when a real manufacturer comes with an actual fan and we work with them, they're like, this doesn't make sense. And we're like, oh, yeah, it looks like there was some ambiguity in the way the specification was written, or the actual use case is slightly different. So what we're doing right now is that we actually work with manufacturers. So the current manufacturer, the manufacturer was working on air purifiers and ACs. A lot of manufacturers use Home Assistant for development, not just for Matter, but also for Z-Wave, Zigbee. And so, yeah, we work with them, make sure everything tested. We also tested against their thermostats. That's how we found another small bug with set points. Certain properties were not reported. So, yeah, it's been working very well. A lot of new device entities are added. And lastly is that there used to not be energy management. One of the big things in Matter 1.3 is actually energy management. Energy management is that you know how much electricity is going through a switch. So you can, and if a TV is in standby, the power is still on. So a switch on-off status actually doesn't tell you if it's being used, but you could look at the power draw to see if a TV is being used, if a washing machine is done, these kind of things. That is now available in Matter 1.3. previously, for example, Eve, they would have energy management available, but through a custom cluster. And a custom cluster is a standardized way to share non-standardized data. So every Matter controller needs to learn about this unstandardized data that, for example, an Eve plug was sharing to get it into their platform. Apple was doing it for Eve. Home Assistant was doing it for Eve. Samsung, I think, is doing it for Eve. And the way we had done it with polling, we previously couldn't get events to be notified. It has been fixed now. So this means that whenever Eve's data is updated, we are instantly notified instead of us having to check every time with Eve, yo, new data. Now they will let us know. So we, especially on bigger thread networks, we see a huge performance improvement. So definitely worth it to upgrade if you are a Matter early adopter.
Well, it will upgrade, right? If you just update Home Assistant, it will
Yes.
be done.
Yeah.
You get the better experience directly. Awesome. So we have some other noteworthy changes left. Let me see. If you have an alarm control panel, you can now set a default code inside the Home Assistant entity settings dialog. The cool thing about that is you don't have to enter a code from Home Assistant. The not so cool thing about it is that you don't have to enter a code.
It works a lot better with LLMs.
Let's not do alarms on LLMs. I would not recommend that. Anyways, we now have an add filter that can add numbers.
I'm
just
surprised.
like multiply this. I'm not sure why it didn't exist, but Tron added it, so it's awesome. Thank you. We have a new action building block called a sequence of action. Should I quickly show it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me try.
I was preparing something, but it's not ready, so go ahead.
I did. I did build it as well. I prepped it a little bit here. So if you have an automation, in this case, it's an automation that turns on a light, turns on a switch, and sends out 2 notifications. How automations work is that these actions will run in sequence. They will run in serial. So once this message has been sent, we'll send the second message, then it will turn on this light, and then it will turn on the switch. And it will do that one by one. We now have a new building block here that's called run in sequence. And if I pick up this block here and put in these 2 notifications, then nothing changed. It will still send this message, turn on the light, turn on the switch. So why is this useful? Well, first of all, you could make 2 groups, right? I could make a group here for my notifications and call it such, and I could add a group here for my devices. So this is a little neat way to organize things in the UI. I could rename this to devices. Here we go. And notifications. All of a sudden, I had a little bit of organization here. But there's a nicer thing you can do with this. We also have a building block called, and this one is already existing, it's called parallel. And what this does is that it can actually run things in parallel and do multiple things at the same time. So if I would drag out this notification here and this notification here, this will now send both notifications out to both of these devices at the same time. So no longer in serial, but at the same time. But let me remove this one. These change of devices I could drag in as a whole too.
Nice.
So what happens now is that I send out 2 messages in parallel, but at the same time, do the 2 one by one. So these will still go one after another because they're in a sequence in parallel as well next to the notifications. So this gives a bunch of flexibility to automations besides organization.
I love it. And
That's it.
did everybody notice how casually Frank is just dragging and dropping things around?
Right.
How easy is that? I love it.
It is pretty cool. Yeah. So that's it for this one.
Nice.
What else did we have? Oh yeah, if you group sensors, you can now do a standard deviation as a calculation method. Pretty cool. All right. Disabling.
It's funny because we've reordered the release notes. Everybody was probably thinking, now it's over, but boom, another big.
No, these are also other noteworthy ones, but do have a little bit more text and context in a screenshot, right? They don't have much extra text, but they are smaller features that are still very interesting, like this one. So you can now disable the expiration of tokens, login sessions. We've changed that a few releases ago, 0.3, I believe, 0.2. Not sure.
Yeah.
Something like that. After 90 days, you'll be locked out. So if you don't touch anything, after 90 days, you will be locked out. So that would mean if you have a holiday home somewhere and you're not visiting that for 90 days and you come back there and like try the wall tablet in your holiday home, it will be locked out, which some people report as, well, that's mildly annoying, right? You should do something about that. So we added that feature. You can disable the expiration of a certain device to not lock out automatically after 90 days.
Also very useful if the parents or grandparents visit your house occasionally, then
Yep.
Make sure they never get locked out. Actually, this makes me wonder. I want to be able to change this for people logged into I want to be able to change this for my parents. Right? Like I don't want them to get logged out, but they will not find this screen.
Probably none.
That's something.
It's a nice overview for full system for appins would be nice, I guess.
Yeah. Something to think about.
All right. Tag entities. I don't have an example. I'm not sure if you have an example, Paulus, but
I did not try this one. No.
Okay, me neither. But tags in Home Assistant, like NFC tags or QR codes, they have been around for a bit right now. The thing is that they are only a thing in the UI and in the automation editor. So you could create them and use them in an automation, but there was nothing left to do. So we moved them now, or G. Johansson did, move them to regular entities. So they're now just an entity, just like any light and just like any switch. And these can be put on your dashboard. So you could put a certain NFC tag on your dashboard and show when it was last scanned, or use them in your templates, or see the history of it, of when it was scanned and such as well. These things were previously not available. So now they're regular entities. Everybody knows how to use those. We're familiar with them. We have lots of them. And yeah, tags are there now too.
Yeah.
Awesome addition. Thank you so much. Also new this release. I like this one. This is Carwat's being here, right? And he is adding another quality of life improvement, like how Beatrocker is always improving speed. Carwat's is always like doing these little improvements here and there. And the cool thing he added now is that blueprints can have sections, and these sections of inputs can be collapsed. So blueprint authors can actually, or more advanced blueprints or larger blueprints, organize them better, hide these sections maybe by default because they're advanced options, or just make it better overviewable. So that's in the future available for blueprints authors that you probably will see a bit more in the near future.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one coming to options flows for my recommended settings for Google and OpenAI and Olama in the future.
It will. It has been. It is in progress, so probably that will make it next release. We've discussed it to add that specific feature to this release as well. But the problem is, if we do that late in the release cycle, nobody's able to use it yet, because once we build such a feature, then the integrations need to adopt that, right? So hopefully,
that's always the interesting part, right? Like we build these tools, building blocks, and then it actually takes a month or two to actually become really like everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, that's it. We have a few backward incompatible changes. You should look at them if you see them listed here. there's not really much to tell. I think Open Weather Map is interesting if you're using that specific integration. They have changed their API to a new version and you need to migrate. The Home Assistant will help you once you upgrade. There will be a notification there. But what you basically have to do is change your account and update the account information in Home
And you have to
Assistant to
subscribe.
make sure it keeps working. It's now subscription based. They have a free tier, but still you have to put in a credit card, I believe, and set limits and whatnot. But yeah, they are changing their APIs and you have to migrate, otherwise it will stop functioning. Some other things in here, Z-Wave. If you're running Z-Wave and you have it like set up by default, there's nothing for you to do. We will take care of it for you when you upgrade. But if you run Docker containers or use community versions of the Z-Wave JS add-ons, then you might have to upgrade. Still, if you upgrade Home Assistant and you haven't seen this or forgotten this, don't panic. Home Assistant will just tell you what to do and nothing like dies or something. It's just there. It will help.
This is, by the way, this update is cool because we are preparing for Z-Wave long range.
That's looking good.
Which more about that soon.
Soonish, yeah. Z-Wave long range, and we're also still working on certification of Z-Wave.
Yeah, which is getting closer now. There's a lot of nasty S2 bugs were fixed by Dominique this week, and yeah, we had a lot of actually when we were at the Z-Wave Alliance. Dominique was there as well. He's the founder of Z-Wave.js, our Z-Wave implementation, and we talked to a lot of people with a lot of Z-Wave experience about how they got through certification, what things to watch out for, how we can work out certain quirks in the specification text versus how we should interpret it, and it's looking really good. So yeah, we're charging forward with that one, and there's a lot of cool Z-Wave stuff coming because of it.
There is a question that is interesting.
Sure.
Why so much Z-Wave love when Matter exists? And I think the answer is actually 2 out of our 3 values. It's a choice. So, and it's sustainability. We absolutely don't want to just leave out Z-Wave to die and have a lot of users that are using Z-Wave just left out with nothing. So Z-Wave is just a smart home protocol that is here to stay. It's local, it fits our value, it's perfect if you already have something. This is what Marcel was saying, like if you have nothing, then maybe look into Matter, but if you already have a house that is powered by Zigbee or by Z-Wave, then you're good, right? Like you don't need to update.
Well, and I think also if you like Z-Wave already works today, right? That's a big plus. Like, we're still figuring out things with Matter performance degradations we sometimes see, and there's not a lot of choice within the Matter world because a lot of these specifications are new, like energy monitoring just landed today. Well, Z-Wave had this for many, many years, Zigbee as well. There's also other pros and cons, right? So Z-Wave is a sub-gigahertz frequency, so it will go further through like dense walls, for example. A thread is based on the 2.4 gigahertz band, which is what powers Matter, and it's very busy. There's Wi-Fi, there's Bluetooth, also on that same frequency. But Matter is based on IP, which means that we are going to see cameras come to Matter, which cameras will work over Wi-Fi because Matter works over Wi-Fi, and Z-Wave will not be able to ever do cameras, for example. So will you have probably a mixed bag, open standard network in your future smart home? Yes. Will it all work locally? Yes. Will it all work forever? As long as the devices work, yes, because the cloud cannot be, there's no cloud involved, so manufacturer cannot turn it off, which is very nice.
Can you imagine like an actual like standard for cameras that can be adopted in a smart home? Like that is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
That is a really, really cool future.
Yeah, it should come. I mean, even if it were in the next spec, which I'm not sure if it is, if it's going to be like there's 2 Matter releases a year. But even if it were to be released this year, then the first devices wouldn't be here until next year, right? So also when we talk about Matter, the spec is evolving, they're adding new things, but it's always moving slower than we want. And manufacturers are even, once the spec is released, manufacturers have to certify the devices, build the devices. So that also takes time. So yeah, give it a year or 2 or 3 or 5.
We'll see.
Yeah,
It looks good. The future is bright, at least.
that's for sure.
It would be nice with a two-way audio also for
Mm.
doorbells.
Yeah, I wonder if they support that. I'm not sure. I should check it out. Look it up.
Last but not least, there's a list of links way in the bottom. So if you are a custom integration developer, there are a lot of things to tell you about this month for your integrations. Check
Can I
them out.
highlight one?
The
It's
LLMs?
how we
Oh.
saved 168 days of execution
Oh.
time per month.
Right?
Like, that's a crazy number. And yeah, because we figured out, or Robert figured out, a bottleneck where discovering which test to run takes a long time, actually a very long time. And we used to have 10 runners to run our tests because we had so many tests, but each runner would figure out all the tests and then select his chunk. And we realized that's a lot of time. So we now have a separate task to figure out which test to run, then write that down into small files that we give to each worker. Boom. We save like 1.5 to 2 hours per CI run. We do so many CI runs, like continuous integration. So every contribution that is updated will get a new, will run the full test suite of Home Assistant or like a subset of it. And yeah, we just saved casually 168 days of a computer running nonstop.
Casually. Yeah. It's nuts.
Right? Like, this is crazy. And the reason we didn't realize this is because, well, actually, we don't pay for our test runners. This is something that GitHub, which is owned by Microsoft, they sponsor us this time and this runtime. So we never really bothered with it because, you know, it was running. We had a lot of runners, but we did a small tweak Robert did by adding UV, which already saved us a lot of time, 200 hours a month. And then that kind of got us thinking, chasing down, and then Robert found this one. And so, yeah, we're saving a lot of hours here, which is really good.
It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah. All right. Where's Frank? Did he just
I don't know. Did he just drop out?
leave himself?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, hello,
That
Frank.
was the
Hello,
back
Frank.
button on the wrong browser. I'm sorry. No, but we reached the end, so that's good. I saw one comment that I want to. By the way, crazy. We're running all of this from the web browser. This whole live stream. To think about that. I saw one comment here which I want to go because we're still talking a little bit about the release notes. Because I saw this question a lot during this live stream. It's about what the feature that bounced last minute. So you might have seen some YouTubers, or maybe you've joined the beta last month, a feature called Strict Connections. And last month we pulled that feature from the beta. So that didn't make last month's release, but it also didn't make this month's release. We're still working on it. We expect it to be here in a couple of months. That's how it looks right now. It's very complex and it will take time. This is not something that you can expect today or tomorrow or next release. Probably a few releases out, but we're keeping working on it. We think it's a really good feature and we're still looking into the best option that we have available in the multiple paths we could take.
I see somebody saying like, hey, you didn't talk about Music Assistant.
Oh.
But we have like 2 minutes, 1 minute. So I'm going to do a speed run.
Go ahead.
Oh, he's going to show it.
No, I'm just going to. So Music Assistant is a sister project of Home Assistant. It's not part of the Open Home Foundation. It's run by Marcel. Marcel is an employee of Nabucasa, core contributor of Home Assistant, has been around for a long time. Music Assistant has been around for a long time, and he has released version 2.0. What Home Assistant does for devices, bring everything into one interface. That is what Music Assistant does for music. So any cloud streaming apps, any local files, they all get together in Music Assistant, which runs as an add-on for Home Assistant. And then from Music Assistant, which runs on your server, it then can stream it to anything in your house. This can be DIY speakers based on ESP Home or whatever. It can be smart speakers like Sonos. It can be smart displays like the Google Nest Hub. Everything that can play a web audio stream can actually be the target of Music Assistant. And Music Assistant pulls in your collection of all the different services you connect to it, creates a single music collection for you. And for example, you say, hey, I want to play Creedence Clearwater Revival. It will actually find the music service or your local files that has the highest quality and plays that. And it allows you to build a playlist and a queue from different streaming services because everything is forged together in a single audio stream inside Music Assistant. And so it gives you a lot of power and flexibility to do exactly what you want with music.
And the integration with Home Assistant is pretty tight. You can do many things from Home Assistant with Music Assistant. I'm waking up with music in my bedroom with Music Assistant. I'm putting my daughter to sleep with Music Assistant also. It's very simple to just start a stream, start a playlist, cue music, go what they call a radio mode, which is like a queue that is constantly being populated by music that are the same style that what you're listening, etc. So that's very nice. Yeah.
It's very cool.
The blog post was great. Like, if you go and read over everything on our blog, like it talks about like where it actually started, why we decided to release it the way we did, and talks about a lot of the changes overall that ended up happening in it. And I think there's a lot of good information if you haven't read it to go ahead and give it a read, because I think it'll help you understand the changes.
Yeah. We've come to the end.
Yay!
2 hours, little
3
bit
minutes.
over.
3 minutes voices.
Yeah.
Little bit. That's good.
Right?
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone that contributed to Home Assistant this release. Thanks, everyone that ever contributed to Home Assistant. Why stop there? Thanks, everyone that's going to contribute to Home Assistant. Thank you for helping out our community. Make sure you hit that like button such that other home automation fans can find us as well.
We
still
have
look for
something
more
to-
subscribers too. We only have like 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. What are we talking
Yeah,
about?
there are more, but we almost forgot something very important, and this is the reason why you should hit that subscribe button and then the bell, by the way, is because we will have another live stream soonish, which is chapter 7 of Voice.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We actually have more voice stuff to talk about than we did today.
There's more voice coming, and we did not spoil those features, which is absolutely stunning. I'm proud of us. Nevertheless, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. On June 26th, we'll get another live stream specific dedicated to voice, and there's stuff there.
Yeah.
That's the
And
longest demo ever.
Yeah, not even close. Look at our Matter live stream.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, and then finally, of course, if you like what we're doing, you want to support our work, support the development of Home Assistant, ESP Home, other related projects, please subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud by Nabukasa. It pays our bills so we can do the work for you.
That's it.
Thank you.